Hey. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're watching Miami TV Live. And tonight we have a special guest for you guys who's going to talk about something very important that's going on here in Miami, and you need to be aware of it. How are you, Mark Chesney?
I'm doing fantastic. I want to thank you very much for having us here today. Very excited, very excited here.
Excited or nervous?
A little of both.
You need to relax. It's just a talk here. It's Jenny. All right, guys. So we're here for an important reason, and there's something that happened in your life. How many years ago, you would say?
Almost 18.
18 years. Wow. Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's 18 years ago my daughter was born, my beautiful Savannah. And what we had happen is that Savannah was born blind, and the doctors had given us a narrative report that she'll never see ever, and it'll be in total darkness forever. And that was the final narrative report that we received.
I'm sure you saw a lot of doctors also. Maybe they all agreed, or...
Everyone did. We were in the medical field, my brother and I, and so we had access to a lot of specialists, and that's exactly where we went to, a couple of specialists. And so we saw the prognoses was kind of grim, you know, so being daddy's little girl was never going to see, so it wasn't too good of a scene there. But the ultimate ending of the story turned out to be something miraculous, not just short of a miracle, it was a miracle.
And that pretty much just gave you a reason to do what you're doing today, which we're going to get into right away. But okay, so the charity that you have, Charity for Kids, mycharityforkids.org, it's specifically for kids that are blind, correct?
Well, it won't cater specifically to only to kids that are blind, but also children with special needs.
Okay.
You know, so any other complications that any of the other kids may have, then we cater to them also. Okay. So. But
your personal experience, that's the only thing that's happened to you, of course. I hope.
Yes, you mean the most dramatic experience?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely the most dramatic one that's ever happened. It's been an uphill climb from there. And the plateau that we've reached is beautiful. It's actually beautiful.
And the cool thing about this charity is that not a lot of charities can say that they've actually had some kind of miracle happen as an example, pretty much. I feel like the charity that he opened up is an example to a miracle, actually, and a lot of parents can actually take that and say, okay, if it's happened to him, why not? Maybe it can happen to me also. So let's go from there. Let's go 18 years from now. How long did it take for this particular day to come?
Well, what had transpired was after the diagnosis with Savannah from the doctors, I had been working with some of the divisions for the blind services in Jersey and some of the other agencies that cater to disabilities for kids. And one day on my way to work, I saw Savannah. She was just sitting there near the door, and she probably wasn't less than 6 months old. And which I see every day because she goodbye, there goes dad off to work to the office. And what had happened is I got in my car, and on the way down to my job,
Are you getting teary on me?
well, you know, I always get back to that microsecond of a...
He was getting a little worried that was going to happen. The first thing I said was, you know, why would you ever be embarrassed of that? If anything, that's the greatest thing, that you should get like that every time you think about it, because it's a great feeling, you know?
It is a great feeling.
Don't feel embarrassed, feel proud of it.
Well, it's a great feeling. It's just that it's overwhelming at times. And what had happened is no audio or visual, but I was telling Jenny that it was almost like one of those little ticker tape things that go across. And what I had a vision of thought was that Savannah will see as much as I believed.
So you heard a voice in your head, right, pretty much.
Right. It was sort of like they say in your conscious mind.
Right. But why did that happen? I mean, you had to have been asking for something, or in a verge of your life maybe that you wanted to change something.
I had been in prayer and deep meditation since she was born. And I mean that I would meditate every day for hours upon hours upon hours on positive energy. I'm a universal type of guy. And putting energy and healing energy into Savannah and actually laying hands on Savannah. Right. And that was maybe during an era in a time that people, you know, a little skeptical about that.
Yeah,
you know,
I think people are a little bit more open to that nowadays, right?
Right, exactly. And even myself, I was doing it out of desperation, to be quite frank.
But you were doing the right thing. You know that we are all channels, really. It's just a matter of if you want to use your channel or not. So all you were doing is invoking energy. That's all you were doing.
Yeah, well, I understand it now. Back then, I was just in prayer. It was a desire to to help my daughter, and I was begging God, I was begging the universe, and then that's when something very miraculous happened in our lives, and in my life. And what it was is that when I saw her when I was leaving the house that day to go to the office, and I went to kiss her goodbye, the door was ajar a little, and I saw the light coming in. And she had put her hand up as though she was touching the light, and I said, oh, well, she was just doing that.
Yeah, okay.
But something stayed in my mind on the way to work. So what I did was called up one of the people at the Division for the Blind and said, can you send someone up there and just take a look at my daughter? And they said, okay, why don't you come on up with us and tell me what was going on, what'd you see, what'd you think?
Yeah.
And so I told her what I had thought, and they did a very basic test. And what they did was they took bubbles out of her pocketbook.
Could have done that.
Yeah, I know, right? Right. If she would have told me what to do, I would have tried it. So she took this little thing of bubbles out, and she blew bubbles, and Savannah started grabbing for the bubbles, reaching for them. And the woman right out like that said, this girl has vision. Yeah. And that's when I couldn't handle,
He just broke down. I would have broke down as well. I would have screamed. I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah, it was such a relief. It was
like somebody heard you almost, right?
Yeah, and matter of fact, in the same microsecond that I realized that she had vision, that it was a miracle, it was the same exact second that I remembered what I had been praying for, and that what I was sort of receiving from the universe was that your daughter will see, Savannah will see as much as you believe, Mark. And so then I knew that something kind of special was happening to me also.
Right. How did the doctors react? Because they're very skeptical to all these things, so it's very difficult to get them to actually understand any of these kind of things.
That's something that's kind of strong to respond to, because the doctors didn't want to respond to it all. I already had the narrative reports. They had already given me 2 prescriptions to take her eyes out and put ocular inserts.
Oh, what? Oh my God! I'm sorry. I just.
Okay. So that's Dad's little girl, and something that happens to other kids, and that's who they are. That's what happens. So
but maybe wait a little longer. She was only 6 months, for God's sake.
Already prepping for that. Saying so that the bone wouldn't overgrow. I do understand what they were concerned with, but they were hitting me with things like left and rights, without even consoling me at first. Yeah. So that was kind of difficult for me to accept. So when I went back with Savannah, I said, oh, by the way, do you see my kid? And she has pretty good vision at this point, The doctor didn't have anything to say, and I didn't want to. It was a miracle, so I was happy with the miracle.
Exactly. I mean, statistically, they saw some. They gave you what the all the tests said. That's pretty much it.
Right. They did the best they could do, and I think that the testing was true. I do believe the testing was true. I do believe that the energy, universal energy, if you're praying, if you're in deep thought that way on a consistent basis, you can heal. I mean, there are so many cases of people healing others now with laying of hands. I mean, I know certain people that are doing this internationally. So I was putting out the same type of energy. So I'm a happy camper, and be able to spread that word now.
And for you, really, it was just like an experiment, wasn't it? I mean, you're just like, let's see if it works,
Actually, it was, and because it was sort of like the last thing I had in my bag. And see, it comes down to faith. My last thing in the bag was prayer, and it wound up being the best thing in the bag.
Very good. So there you have it. I mean, I think that now you made a promise before I continue. What was the promise?
Okay, the promise that I had made when I got this little vision of thought was that I will dedicate the rest of my life to helping kids in need.
Okay. Were you happy about that, or were you like?
Well, I wasn't.
He has no choice now, right?
I wasn't overwhelmed as I was with her vision.
Of course.
But I realized, and of all people, my mom had remembered. When I told her that, she said, you know what you promised God, right? Yeah. And she's very devout with her prayer. And I said, I understand, Mom. I said, so slowly but surely I had integrated to God, my prayer to Him, my dedication. I slowly integrated it into my life and started forming some of those carnivals and festivals and giving back to the kids in need and different agencies.
Believe it or not, a lot of people, and this happens every day, they ask for something to happen. It happens. Oh, great! It was a coincidence, and then they keep on going with their life. And then years after, things go back to the way they were, the way they were. So I think it is important that you keep going, I guess, with that promise. You know, I guess up to whatever kind of percentage you want. It could be 100% or it could be maybe 80 and then another job. I mean, I don't think it necessarily means that you have to live your life towards it. I don't know if you could live out of that, but I guess whatever you do, you have to do it because you feel like you're doing the right thing, you know?
Right. I do feel like that. I'm generating a lot of interest in what we're doing now, and I'm so happy for that because of the fact that that's where I belong. It really is my purpose. I had been doing other things in the medical field. It was great. You know, the money was fantastic. No complaints whatsoever. I was a yuppie, with all the toys, everything I had. But I realized.
Yeah, but you had money, but then you had a personal problem. Now
Yeah.
You don't have a personal problem.
Exactly. And with no money. Okay.
I don't know about that, but doesn't it make you happier? I mean,
Of course it does, right? Because I'm doing what I had promised to do. I also find in this work that I'm doing now, helping others, it couldn't be more gratifying.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's sort of. Someone said to me, "Well, you know, it's a ministry, Mark." I said, "Well, no, it's not a ministry. It's just something I promised God." And they looked at me and said, "Well, what do you think the ministry is, Mark?" Yeah, and so it is in sorts a ministry, and I'm enjoying that thought because what I'm doing is I am helping people cross over the disability thing with their kids. A lot of people can't accept that.
Yeah.
And now I'm a statistician with, I have a database, you wouldn't believe, on what happens to kids who are disabled in the first few days or first few weeks and months of their lives.
what happens to them?
A lot of them get discarded.
Okay.
Or thrown out or worse.
I'm sorry. What do you mean discarded?
The worst abused children that I had researched were blind. How's that one? And what was abused, they were pushed around, thrown around just in a house by their parents, I'm talking about. By their parents.
There were things.
Yeah. And because of the different emotions you go through,
Yeah.
I guess, to accept a child.
Do you think maybe it's because they think that this is like a way of God punishing them or something?
Oh, yeah, I would think that.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's totally ridiculous. I think that those people just don't have enough truth. I view truth as energy. There is nothing greater than truth. You know, so
No, that maybe they're very materialistic. They're just like want everything to be in society what we would call perfect, which is just have a job, have this, have that, a little, you know, little house, and everything's great. And
I was there though. That's why I can relate to it. It's a whole different scene. I had that, and it's great. Money is good. Money is very good. It's healthy for you. And now, what I'm looking forward to is to generate the funds that we're about to start generating again. And giving back to see how many kids we can help, how many families we can educate. That's a big charge for me. That's what makes me glow. So.
you are glowing, Mark. It might be the light, though, right? For the no, I'm kidding. So, how do parents react? I mean, you got to the point where you're doing seminars, right? You're talking to a bunch of parents at the same time. Do you tell them all your story of what happened?
Sometimes I will if I feel comfortable enough, like I'm comfortable with you. Sometimes I'll stop, I'll pull short of that little microsecond because then I'll be crying all the time and I may make them feel worse.
Do you feel like maybe some people might not believe?
Yeah, I would think a lot of people wouldn't. Now I've gotten into a group, or I should say an understanding of people, and I realized, what do they call them, haters? You know? Well, that's
a good way of putting it.
Yeah, in non-trusting people. And it's good not to trust everyone. Of course it is.
Listen, those kind of people are just ignorant. That's what you call them,
Right.
ignorance.
I understand it first, right? They are totally ignorant. You know, and the whole thing comes back down to is to know yourself, to understand yourself, who you are. That this is our shell. Our spirits are who we really are. I only got there because of a miracle. So it's not as though I was there, you know, because I'm Mark.
Now, do you also feel like, maybe, I mean, what kind of life were you living before? Were you happy with it? Were you maybe too materialistic? I mean, were you paying too much attention maybe to money and this just kind of like turned over completely?
Yeah, it flipped.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it, 180 or 360? Like
I was just thinking of that.
it was a complete turnaround. Money meant nothing after that.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter, Daddy's little girl, and there's something wrong. What's going on here? There's anything wrong? And so yeah, I was materialistic, and I had, like I said, I had actually reached almost a pinnacle where I was riding high. I was You know, in fact, when I was living in Jersey, I was coming down here to all the clubs and renting those Donzi boats, whatever they are, the motor. Yeah, so I was partying.
Isn't that what everybody does when they come to Miami? You know?
Yeah. Well, if you have money, yes, it is.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it's something normal, I guess. People just say, oh, we have to go to Miami, you have to rent something exotic, whatever it is. And then it turns out, you know, what's the point? There's no point for it. I mean, if it makes you happy, great, but don't do it to impress somebody else, you know?
Right, exactly.
It's a girl.
Right, well,
No, not even.
It was. Well, that's what it was for me at the time.
Right, not bad.
Yeah, but things did change completely, and my life was turned upside down, and it's just so great to know that if you take this for what it's worth, it was a miracle. I found myself. I found who I really am, and I'm saying to myself, wow, that's very cool. You really do like that.
Not a lot of people can say that, you know, that they know what they're here for.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because I think it's a difficult road. I forget the gentleman's book that I read, The Road Less Traveled. It's definitely the road less traveled, Scott. And it's a difficult one.
And a lot of times, maybe not the one that you were hoping or you were expecting.
Right, yeah, I wasn't hoping or expecting it. Yeah. You know? So, you know,
we all have a purpose. You just have to find it. And sometimes it just takes one little miracle like that for you to find what it is that you're here to do. So let's go to what we're here specifically also, which is the event that you're doing this month. When is it? I think I'm seeing it right behind you.
I believe it's the 28th, it's the 28th of February.
I hope you're going to be there.
Yeah, I better remember what day it is. It's fantastic, Jenny, my goodness. Miami is being very receptive to us. I have a database. First, I have to applaud the youth in this state, and Greater Miami in particular, because that's where I'm working with these kids. Miami-Dade. The responses that we're getting, the database that I've collected is so beautiful. It shows all the kids that are opening up to their hearts to pay it forward. They're looking for direction to helping others. Yeah. They have a need. They have a thirst to quench. You know, that's what I offer. So I've got the best job. What I do is I tailor design different volunteer ops, you know, for the kids and for other people, for organizations, and we're having a ball doing it. And so we had met somewhere through the grapevine, a few people. My son, who is very educated in music, he's a composer, guitarist, and he came up with a particular opportunity for us. It's called Volunteer One. And so it's another segment of the company. My Charity for Kids and Volunteer One is another portion of it, which is the volunteer portion. And he came up with some opportunities that are great. And one of them is, of course, he's a young kid too. He got into this electronic music, and what we're doing is we're organizing these events for teens only. And
so this is from what age to what age?
This one here is strictly 14 to 19, I believe.
Okay, 14 to 19.
And it's really great because it's very well monitored. There's no liquor, of course, on the premises. This is going to be at the Marlins Stadium, so you have a view both of the park and of the Clevelander. It gives the youth an opportunity to experience a big club. Yeah. You know, the big bash type thing, you know, without...
I hope they don't get used to it, though.
No, in one respect, we hope they get used to it every month. Because that's
no, I hope they... But I'm saying I hope they don't get used to it, and then when they're 21, you know, that's all they do. Then it'll backfire, right?
Yeah, that's all. Thanks, Jenny.
I just killed them. Yeah. No, well, I mean, they're not only there to dance and have fun. I mean, you're also teaching them something. They're there to help each other. So, of course, that won't happen. They'll have you to guide them.
Yes, it will. And all the other
all the pressure on you.
Yeah, all the pressure on me. But what we do have is we have a staff that'll be there, and we will be giving them new volunteer opportunities during the show. We'll have our table set up. Yeah. And so they're coming there, signing in for different volunteer ops. Awesome. So it's part of the, it's almost like a reward. The show is a reward, and that's the way we set it up with my son.
That's good. A reward for volunteering. That's very nice.
Yeah, and they get to experience something kind of cool. You know,
so, of course, the parents could go with them, right?
Most of them frowned upon it immediately because they wanted to party by themselves. But I got a few of them to agree. Your mom or dad can come? Sure, okay, that's okay. So we made them staff members, of course. So what better thing can you offer a parent at a club is to say you can come to the club also and monitor your children. They were loving it. So I made a few of them staff members.
It's like the school parties, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Chaperones.
Yeah, basically chaperones, exactly.
Even though I do think that it probably won't even be that necessary because the kind of kids that you're talking about that already want to volunteer, I mean, these are kids that are already in a good path, you know, so they would have never even gotten to this event or to you if it wasn't for them wanting to volunteer in something, you know?
Right. As a matter of fact, in order to reach us, they had to have researched on volunteermatch.org, and that's an international organization that gives volunteer opportunities, and then they found us. And we seem to be becoming the better volunteer company right now. And that's what we're growing. You won't believe how fast we're growing. It's like very quick.
I think if anything, then it'll be good for your kids to go to this event because they'll get a chance to socialize with good kids, you know?
Yeah, we're giving awards to the children, I call everyone's a kid once you hit my age, teens. We're giving awards for the best business concept, philanthropic concept, both as an individual and as a group. So this way they can get together as a unified team. You know, it gets them to organize themselves and paying it forward. And so I'm having a blast doing that because that's what I like doing, teaching. Yeah. And the kids are loving it. The ones, like you said, they're there because they want to volunteer first. And then the reward is to say, hey, you're going to go to a big bash also.
So is your son going to be DJing?
I wanted him to, but he's hiring all the different DJs. Oh, actually, we're not even hiring him this time. For the first couple times, we've had it.
Volunteering, I'm guessing, right?
They're volunteering, and these are some pretty big people.
And if not, we could get you some DJs. Don't worry.
Yeah, thank you. Yourself and.
I don't DJ, and Ricky doesn't DJ either. But all right. Well, it sounds like you have everything going the way that you wanted. Now, reach out, I mean, to whoever you want. I'm sure that you're still looking for sponsors or looking for, you know, different companies to support you on this. So go ahead, talk to them right there.
Hey guys, what we could use right now is a couple of sponsors to help us. Sponsors. What do sponsors usually do, Jenny?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that. I don't know.
You know, because I'm saying to myself, what am I needing?
It could be catering, it could be music, it could be events, it could be even games. I mean,
very good. Well, you know something? We do need that. The games, they have.
Bounce houses.
Yeah, what is it?
Bounce houses.
That's exactly what we're looking for. Thank you. Okay, so you're telling us. We are in dire need of that, the big bounce house thing with the foam. They're allowing us to do that because it's outside of the building. They have those big Jenga. What is it called? The game.
Jenga,
yeah, that kind of stuff. What else? We need like one of those mechanical bull rides to be outside.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, it's kind of cool stuff. The teens, I saw that, and the teens were really loving it. Just some of the immediate things we're looking for. But we're looking for is the support from the community to allow the teens or allow us to go in and give a presentation to show what we're really about, and it's an educational program first. Okay, so that's the main plug that we have here, the main thought to get across to the public.
He's not going to bore you. Don't worry. You're going to have fun, I promise.
Yeah, you'll have a blast because it'll be my son, not myself there.
No, you're actually very fun to talk to, and I love the fact that he's very expressive with his, you know, with your face. Everything you say, you can tell that it comes right from inside, and you just, you know, I don't know, you're living it. Oh, he's about to cry now.
With Jenny.
All right, so teens only party, Splash Miami, and that is at the Marlings. We would call it the Clevelander, right? Isn't it the
Clevelander? Right.
So
it's the club within the park.
So this would be one of actually the very few or only opportunities that maybe teens will get to party there. What time is it at?
It'll be from 7 to 11, 11:30. I believe the kids have a curfew.
Yeah, 7 to 11. Okay, isn't that a little late? No.
No, the curfew is 11.
Curfew's 11. Okay.
Cut the show in half, Jenny.
Well, I was hoping that they were there from like 12 to 2. I'm kidding. No, they're not 2.
But actually, we wanted it from 12 to in the afternoon.
That's going to be like a real like nightclub kind of scene, you know, for them. So.
The Clevelander is actually doing some special stuff for us. They closed the pool off, but they have these little glow balls, all neon.
Okay.
It's going to look really great. The graphics are going to be great, guys. You'll never get an opportunity like this, not on this kind of level. To witness this is going to be fantastic.
Awesome. All right, so you're selling tickets. Where can they get them? Or on the
either online, and we have tickets being printed right now that'll be available for this weekend. Okay. And to make sure we get a phone number out to these young people to find out where, and we'll be delivering them to certain.
Maybe they can go also to mycharityforkids.org, and they'll get the information there.
In fact, yeah, you can buy tickets right there also, and they'll get the rest of the information from Matthew, who's the volunteer leader, my son, and he'll be delivering all of these tickets. Yeah.
We're going to talk to Matthew in a little bit. All right, Mark, thank you so much. Congratulations, by the way. I think that what you're doing is great. And I love the fact that you're so emotionally involved with all this as well.
I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, Jenny.
Thank you. All right, guys, stay tuned here to Miami TV Live. Have a good day, have a good night, have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.